so few players involved today. Can you bring us up to date with what you know? I know there's been a change in the goalkeeping department at least.
Well, I think, as you've seen, I think we had in total on the grass this morning was about 8 players, 5 who joined in the full training session, 3 who did part. But we're waiting for guys getting off aeroplanes and flights, and we'll not really know until tonight. So I can't give you a full in-depth report on the squad situation. Obviously, we've got less time to prepare because we play on Thursday. So we're hoping when everybody comes in tonight, they'll be fit and ready to go.
John McCracken is in. Grant Hanley was there doing a little bit. Is he being assessed? Is he fit to be considered? Or?
No, he's fit to be considered. We're just taking it easy with him. I think he had a slight injection at Norwich and he's come back to us and he'll train fully tomorrow. So it was just a precaution today, but he'll be fine.
How do you go about preparing then, given those limitations? Do you have sort of plan A, plan B, plan C, depending on who kind of walks through fitting?
Yeah, well, we had a tight, small session this morning. Obviously, you can't do a great deal with 8 players or 5 players. We'll have a lot more tomorrow, and then we will have the full squad at least on Wednesday to do some tactical walkthrough, because obviously we've got guys flying in from America, from Italy. You know, the 2 lads who've just signed out in Italy, Scott and Billy, you know, the emotion that they've gone through over the last few days. You know, so they'll hopefully join in tomorrow and be ready for the tactical side of things on Wednesday. But there's not a lot of preparation time, as you well know, but you just have to get on with it.
Steve took a bit of criticism following the Euros. What did you make of what was levelled at him and the team?
I think we all took criticism, let's be honest, because if it's geared at Steve, it's geared at all of us, because we're all one big squad, one party, one team. So we all have to take it. And there was a huge amount of disappointment, yes, from the fans, certainly from the players and the staff, but nobody was more disappointed than myself. But we have to move on. You know, we've took it on the chin. We've had the summer. It's a new start today because there's a new competition starting. And let's not forget, we're now in Group A of the Nations League. So that's got to be a huge incentive for all these players now, old and new coming in, to be ready for it and face this challenge. Because it's going to be daunting. It's a daunting challenge. And our aim is to survive in the group. That's what we have to do. Yeah, you want to win it and you want to come second, but our priority will be, can we stay in the group?
You say you've moved on, John. Is there any concern at all that the under-par performances from the Euros have some kind of hangover and some kind of effect on this campaign?
I think if you put it into perspective and you look at, there was an awful lot of mitigating circumstances. You know, if you look at the guys we lost before we went into the tournament, if you look at during the tournament, we lost obviously Kieran Tierney as well. We lost big players for this national team, and when you lose your big players, I think any team struggles. We've seen it. I've seen it with my club back at Newcastle last season, how we lost so many big players, and we struggled because of it, and we didn't qualify for Europe. So we had a lot of things that went against us, but at least we went into that last game. Yeah, we were disappointed because we didn't get out of the group and we wanted to create history, but we went into that last game with the opportunity of going through. And, you know, I'm not going to go into details. I know Steve spoke about it when he named the squad, but there was things that went against us. And, you know, it's a fine line, success and failure. And unfortunately, we didn't get across the line, which is why we were all disappointed.
Has there been a big discussion over the squad, or is that still to come about how you make the improvements?
It may be when they come in, yeah. No. I think everybody realises. I think we're realistic people, and we understand, you know, what went on in the summer. But what we can't do is we can't keep going back to it now. We've got an unbelievable group ahead of us, some fantastic games, and we've got the preparation for the World Cup, because the preparation for me now starts, which is why there'll be a few fresh faces in there, which is important. So, you know, we've looked at every part of the world, part of the globe, to see which players could come in to take us forward. And let's not forget, Scotland were in the doldrums 23 years ago, and now we've qualified for 2 back-to-back Euros. We've qualified and got into the Nations League Group A. So I think we're going in the right direction. We still have, still a huge gap to close. Let's not forget that. But we have to put it into perspective of where we are, how far we've come, and where we want to go. And, you know, we'll try as long as we can to keep improving that and make progress.
You agree though, John, that the fans were demanding more, are demanding more, and do you feel that will lead to more pressure from the...
That's what happens. That's what, when you raise expectations, that's what happens. It's quite incredible because the amount of people I've met since the Euros who've come up to me, not one person's come up to me and said he was disappointed or she was disappointed. They've actually said how much of a great time, it's been a great journey, and hopefully we can continue that journey. So that gives you a little bit of a lift, the fact that people are saying that. And I know you're going to have people who are going to criticise and they've got the right to say that. But I listen to the ones who come face to face with me and tell me what they thought. And they thought that, you know, the journey that we've been on, like I say, the experience, they've never had it for so many years. Even when they qualified the previous time, maybe it's too young to travel. And you know, so I think everybody, yeah, there's disappointment there, but I think people are realistic as well. I mean, let's not forget how big our nation is. I mean, it's a wonderful place up here, you know, but we're not a huge country when it comes to football. We are in the eyes of the fans and the players, but what's the population?
Great question. 5 point?
5 point.
Yeah. 5.5.
So it's not a huge population, and obviously there's other sports, but you know we are thriving to try and improve it and give more success if we can to the people.
Do you think there's a section of the Scotland support that you need to win back and get back on side after the disappointment of the Euros?
I've got to be honest, I don't think so. I don't think so because I think the proof is in the pudding. Yeah, let's not forget, you know, our recent games have been against top sides in the world, not just in Europe. So, you know, let's have a bit of realism here. And it's going to be tough. The next 6 games are going to be exactly the same, coming against top nations. But would you not rather have that? Because I certainly would. I would certainly want to play against Poland, Portugal, in Croatia in the next 6 games, because that's challenging. It's going to be tough. We know that. But I'm sure if you're a part of the Tartan Army or the fan base, you want to play games like that. And that's being respectful to the smaller clubs, countries.
How confident are you that the lessons that you need to take from the Euros into this can be taken?
Well, you like to think you like to think you can take into the next phase. I mean, we're going into the first game. For example, the first away game in Portugal, how we learned from the experience against Germany. You know, the occasion, the size of the game, the prestige that went with it. So only time will tell if we've learned from that.
What's the biggest regret you have from the Euros?
Well, obviously not getting out the group, you know. We can look at what we did in the last game. We can talk about should we play this system, should we play with those players. But at the end of the day, if you think hard and fast about it, we were about 10 minutes away from what looked an obvious penalty that wasn't given. We then have a great chance at one end, they go up the other end and get the winner. It's a fine line, it's a fine margin. But for me, from a personal point of view, the biggest regret was we had a chance to create history and we didn't. So that's got to be a drive. For me, that's got to be a drive and a motivation to go again.
John, do you see it as a benefit that do you see it as a benefit this campaign coming so close to the summer so that those around the team can't dwell on what happens at the Euros?
I've got to be honest, it doesn't seem that close. It seemed like years ago for me, sitting around doing nothing. But yeah, it could help. It could help. And obviously, most of the guys have had a good pre-season, and they're just at the beginning of the season, so they're coming in hopefully fresh, and it should help us.